Lots of spine breathing today.
I had my ringer on like the tiniest bit just in case anything with my son, but I don't think they'll pick it up. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yep. Today is yoga for anxiety. We're going to do a lot of spine breath today. So a lot of working with our breath. We're going to try it laying down, we're going to try it seated, and we're going to try it as we're moving also. So lots of different ways of thinking about our breath. So we're going to start down on our backs. Start by landing in the room. Bring your feet down to the ground, knees up. Soften your back into the ground. Start to find your breath. Start to allow your shoulders to come to the ground. And take your hands and rub them together and make them nice and warm. And then place them somewhere on your breathing where you might feel tight. So maybe on the rib cage, maybe up on the chest. Find the place where you feel like you have the most tightness around your breath. And just rest your hands here, feeling the warmth of your hands. Start to slow your breath. And imagine the warmth of your hands could soften all of the muscles around your breathing. Loosen any gripping. Make space for more breath. And then imagine the warmth of your hands is drawing you down into the ground below. So start to really notice the support of the ground below you. Resting into the ground. And then if your hands are comfortable where they are, leave them where they are. Allow them to flop open to the side. Try to allow your shoulders to rest even more onto the ground. Check in on neck tension. And we're going to start spine breath. So we're going to imagine we're breathing in through the crown of our head, and as if there's a little tube all the way down to our tailbone. And then as we breathe out, we're going to slowly breathe up, imagining our breath starts at our tailbone and goes all the way up through the crown of our head. As you start to connect with this pathway, this imaginative pathway of breath and fresh energy, start to imagine as you breathe in every single cell of your body softening, and as you breathe out, starting at the tailbone, just a little squeeze, tiny squeeze of the muscles all the way up the spine, assisting the breath back out, really getting the breath out. Not forcefully, just a little tiny assist. And as you get the hang of that, explore adding a gentle pause at the end of the exhale. So breathing in deeply, and then breathing out fully, and a little pause at the end of the exhale. And then let all thoughts of your breath go and just take a quick body scan, noticing any places that seem to be still tight and gripping. Notice the muscles of the throat, muscles across the chest, the muscles of the lower abdomen. And then begin to wiggle your toes. We're going to work our feet and legs a lot today. So begin to just wiggle your toes, feel your feet. Maybe rub them a little on the mat just to get to feel your feet. Start to be a little grounded in your feet. And leaving the left foot down, take the right foot up. You can hold the thigh. And we're going to just start to warm up the foot. So pull the toes towards the shin. Try to start to fire up the muscles of the foot. And then point the toes away. And then start to move through back and forth. Just feeling nice and slow. Feeling the muscles. Maybe taking out some creaks and cracks. And then point the toes, really strong muscles in the feet. Maybe even curl the toes under. Start to feel the muscles of the feet. And you're going to take the foot in towards midline and then out to outside. So really starting to feel all the muscles in the foot. Maybe starting to feel some muscles in the lower leg. And then a really slow circle with the foot. And back the other way. And let the right foot come down, switch sides, and then bring the left toes all the way to the shin. Start to feel the muscles of the foot. And then point the toes away, curl them under. And then back and forth, nice and slow, starting to really feel the muscles of the feet. And if you're really not being present in the physical body, take your eyes to your foot. So you're really thinking about what you're doing. And then point the toes, curl them under, feel the muscles of the foot. And then you're going to pull towards midline and then pull outside. Try not to let the leg move. We're just working through the foot. And then a really slow circle. And back the other way. And then bring both knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little hug, maybe a rock on the sacrum. And then curl over to a side and come up to a tabletop position. Starting to move and breathe in tabletop. So inhale, tabletop. Exhale towards a child's pose. Really connecting to your feet on the ground, your hands on the ground, finding a base. And throughout practice, trying to add in that gentle little pause at the end of the exhale, keeping your breath very intentional. Inhale forward. Exhale back, gentle pause, trying to allow the breath to be fully out of the body. If you'd like to take some gentle sways with the hips, changing the movement up a little, start to explore your own practice and your own muscles and holding patterns. And bring it back up to tabletop. Take the right leg out even with the hip. Hold and hover. Lift and activate the chest muscles. Take the left arm out. Breathe and balance. Lower the left hand, bend the right knee, and bring the right knee towards the right hand. Hold and hover. Pull the knee and the ankle up out of the ground. Really activate that leg. This should feel like lots of work in the glutes and leg. And then send the legs straight. Lower the toes. Press through the heel. Little pulses or hold static. Lower the right knee. Reset. Take the left leg, even with the hip nice and long. Lift up out of the ground with the chest, not sinking down in the shoulder. Right arm up. Breathe and balance. Lower the right hand, bend the left knee, and slowly draw the left knee towards the left wrist. Pull the knee and ankle up out of the ground. Watch for sinking into the shoulders. Lift and activate the chest. And then send the left leg long, lower the toes, and press through the heel. Static or pulses, whichever feels right. Lower the left knee, tuck the toes, and we're going to lift and hover the knees. So activate the chest first, pull up out of the ground, lift and hover. Try to lift a little more out of the chest. We're going to squeeze the knees together and then pull the knees apart, really working with the thighs, small movement. Squeeze and pull, both directions, active muscles. Squeeze the thighs, really working the thighs. And then send the hips up and back for down dog. And warm up your down dog in whatever way feels right. Take little side sways with the hips, pedal the legs. And then find the stillness of down dog and connect to the crown of your head. Start to think about turning your world upside down and letting some stuff go. Bend both knees, look towards the hand, step right foot just outside of right hand and left foot just outside of left. Grab your block if you have one. We're going to work through the legs here. So forward fold first. Try to think about active, strong legs. So as if you're trying to pull the mat apart with your legs, active legs. And then we're going to bend the right knee, peel the heel up, and then switch sides. Bend the left knee, peel the heel up. So working through the legs nice and slow. Trying to keep that active, strong outside and inside muscle group. And then land both heels. Inhales, re-rise all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, prayer to heart. Connecting to the breath 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale back. Little pause. Bring your prayer to heart and center. Feel your feet on the ground. Watch for locked knees. And then from here, we're going to peel one heel up at a time, nice and slow. So as you're peeling the heel up, think about using the muscles of the legs rather than leading from the heel. Think about pulling from the cuff, activating the thigh. And if you're ready, start to peel both heels up, maybe sinking the hips. Nice, slow, steady breath. And then lower the heels, step into mountain pose. We're going to take the right leg and tuck it just behind the left. So heel to heel alignment, hips even. Hold here. Start to lower down and then engage both legs. So really strong in the legs, bend the knees. We're going to pull the thighs in towards each other and pull them out. Important, we're using the muscles of the inner thighs. This movement is small. Nice, slow, steady breath. Really connecting to the muscles of the inner thighs. And if you're ready to challenge your balance, you're going to bend both knees a little more and peel the heels up. And then the same movement. Draw the knees teeny bit inwards and out, but movement comes from the thighs, not really moving from the knees. Inner thighs together and then pull apart. Challenge your balance. Lower the heels if you lifted them. Step back to mountain pose and connect to the breath. Inhale up. Exhale, prayer to heart, little pause. Inhale up. Exhale, prayer to heart. One more time. Hold your prayer at heart. Tuck the left leg a little bit behind the right. Basically heels aligned. Find a comfortable place for your feet and your knees and ankles. Sink the hips a little, bend the knees, and then a little squeeze of inner thighs together and pull apart. Try to feel like you're really gripping the ground with your feet, but not your toes. Soft toes. Work the legs, work the glutes. And then if you're ready, lift the heels, bend the knees a little more, and again, pulling the thighs together and pulling apart. Working with your breath. Slow, steady breath. And then lower the heels if they're lifted, step back, mountain pose. This time, we're going to connect to spine breath and mountain pose. So assess your base first. Wiggle the toes, make sure the toes are soft. Legs, knees, ankles, low back, nice and soft. Find a soft base, soft shoulders, soft face. And if it helps you, close your eyes. Think about the crown of your head. And then think about drawing fresh breath in through the crown of the head, down the spine, all the way back up, and adding that gentle pause. And you can stay here if this is working for you, or give a little small bend in the knees and sink the hips a little tiny bit. Small chair shape, and continue spine breath. Try to keep the low back soft, slight engagement in the legs. And then return to mountain pose if you sunk the hips. Softly float the eyes open. And we're going to inhale up and swan dive it down. Touch the ground. Bend in the knees. Allow the head to come to the ground, towards the ground. crown of the head down. And take some of the tension out of the neck, maybe a little soft shake of the head, a little no. Step the right foot back, left foot back, high plank, and then lower the knees and come all the way down to crocodile pose. One hand on top of the other, forehead down. Shimmy the hips, and what else can you soften? Keeping the upper body down, we're going to lift and hover the toes and start to fire up the muscles of the legs. So start to fire up the glutes, start to fire up the legs, and we're going to pull the legs apart, hover, and then pull the legs in. Start to move, a little movement, pulling apart and pulling in. Now using the backs of our legs to pull our legs apart and pull our legs in. Working with the breath. Inhale as we open. Exhale as we squeeze in. Maybe our gentle pause. And then lower the toes, lower the legs, shimmy the hips, let go. And we'll work the upper body back. So beginning to lift our shoulders as we inhale. And exhale, lower, gentle pause. Arms can be at our sides, they can lift and hover. Try to keep the tension out of the neck and think about lifting the shoulders, not the head. And when you lift, lengthen as if you're getting taller from the top of the crown of the head to the tailbone. And if you like, you can begin to lift the toes, hover and squeeze the legs at the same time. Bring it back down to crocodile. Shimmy the hips. Let go. We're going to bend the right knee and draw the right knee out towards the right shoulder, kind of even with the hip. Place the ankle down on the ground, even with the knee. So once you get it on the ground, you're going to press the ankle into the ground and try and lift your knee. So the muscles you're trying to use are right in the glute area on the right side. If you lift your knee enough to lift a piece of paper underneath it, you're really winning. So squeeze and lift, squeeze and lift. See if you can lift the knee, press the heel into the ground. And notice which muscles you like to cheat with to try and get this knee up. It'll show you some of your holding patterns. So watch if you're really pulling from the left side, left glute active, left oblique active. And just start to try and keep it in the right side. Squeeze the glute, lift the knee. Pulse on and off. And then slowly slide the knee bent back behind the hip and draw the heel towards the glute. If you like, you can reach back and grab the foot. You manage to grab the foot, push the foot into the hand and the hand into the foot to fire up the front of the thigh. And if you have the foot, slowly release it and allow the right leg to come down. Shimmy the hips and notice left and right sides. And then slowly draw the left knee towards the left shoulder. It's a half frog pose. So heel behind the knee. place the heel down, press it into the ground, and then try to lift the knee. Notice if one side's easier than the other. And then pulse on and let go. Pulse on and let go. Fire up the left glute space. See if you can fire up some more muscles in the left leg. And then slowly slide the knee back behind the hip and draw the left heel towards the glute, maybe reaching for the foot. Slowly release the foot if you have it. Shimmy the hips, let go. And then tuck your toes and make your way to child's pose. Keep the hips a little higher and think about space across the low back. And then back to down dog. Get really strong in the arms and shoulders, lifting with the muscles of the chest. Pull yourself up out of the weight in your wrists, keeping your base really solid. So keeping your arms and shoulders where they are. Slowly lift the right heel towards the ground, as slow as you can, trying to keep that strength in the chest and shoulders. Press the right heel higher. And then bend the knee and step through low lunge. If you have your blocks, finding your blocks. We're going to work through bending the knee. Inhale, exhale, sending it towards straight. Working with the breath and adding your gentle pause. As you get the hang of this movement, maybe starting to open up the hips a little. So keeping this right leg down, pulling the left hip open as you move. So important that this movement comes from the legs. Try not to pull from the sacrum. Start to feel the inner thighs. Start to actively and mindfully move around on that back left foot, allowing it to plant, allowing it to land with muscular action and intention. And then land in a strong low lunge. So lifting up out of that thigh, strong all the way to the right hip, all the way to the left heel. Breathe. Bend the back knee, lower it towards the ground a little, and then inhale, rise up nice and slow, high lunge. Find a strong high lunge base, hips even, facing forward, nice and strong. Let go of gripping in the face and the toes. Bring your hands to your hips and we're going to move through inner thighs. You may wish to pop that back foot in a little for balance. So we're going to lower the left knee. We're going to come on back up and we're going to slowly peel from the leg, not the hip, and bring it open. Back, forward, lower the knee. So we're going to work with our breath. Little complicated for a reason. Get your head in your body, not in your bind. So we're going to inhale as we lift up and spin around. Back. Exhale, lower. Sorry, I need to switch this. I switched it up. So let's start again. Arms out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, open up. Inhale, back forward. Exhale, lower the knee. We're going to push out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, open. Really strong legs. Inhale, lift, peel onto the ball of the foot, lower the knee. Move with your breath. You can take the arms out if it's too complicated. Really feeling the muscles of the legs. And then slowly land in a warrior two. Maybe opening the feet up a little. Really strong in both legs. We're going to inhale all the way back to reverse triangle. Exhale, warrior two. Little pause. Inhale up. Exhale, warrior two. Little pause. Hold it in a warrior two. Taller in the spine. And bring your hands to your shoulders. Turn the toes out, heels in, facing long side of your mat, nice and tall. And we're going to inhale, star, and exhale down to goddess, nice and slow. Trying to find all those muscles of the legs. The arms are tired, bring the arms to your hands to your hips. Trying to find that active squeezing of the legs and the active pull out of the legs. Both sides of the legs active and strong, toes not gripping. Bring it down to a comfortable goddess and hold. Bring your hands down to your hips. Find your base, so really feel your feet in the ground and then pull up out of the ground with every muscle you can find. Placing your hands softly on your thighs. We're going to take slow throat circles here, so bring your chin all the way to your chest and bring your ear to one shoulder and then the other as slow as you can, so you're trying to find muscles, not rolling on joints. Keeping your legs active. Bring your head back to neutral. Still holding your legs. Let's burn out those legs. I'm going to peel one heel up at a time, nice and slow. Really thinking about peeling with the muscles of the legs rather than pushing the heel up. So we're not just using the muscles of the feet. Try to keep your hips nice and stable. Start to tire out those muscles. If you're ready, you can start to peel both heels up. And then come on up to star. Shake the legs, loosen and soften. Get that little cellular reset going. And then turn the back foot sideways, front foot forward, warrior two. So find your warrior two legs. We're gonna move from here. So we're gonna sweep up and over onto this right leg and maybe even pull this left leg up. So just start where you are, just pulling arms long, pull into the legs and lift. Maybe you can pull that back leg up. Inhale, reach, exhale, sweep away. Inhale, reach, exhale, sweep back. Strong legs. So core is active, but we're really reaching with the legs. So really strengthening and lengthening the legs. Reach long, reach strong, land light. And then find a warrior two. Really feel the legs. Pivot on the back foot, frame out the front. Right foot meets left, down dog. Notice left and right sides. Take a little bend in the knees and cross right foot over left. Hold here, squeeze the thighs together, bend the knees, squeeze the thighs open and squeeze the thighs together. So if this is too much, you can move down to forearms, rest the shoulders a little. And slowly switch sides, return the right foot, cross the left foot in front. Find a base so you're nice and strong and solid in your arms, your base is not moving. Bend the knees and then thighs pull apart and together. Notice how a slightly different shape uses a slightly different group of muscles. And then return to down dog. Find your breath. Let your head soften. And now you get to know why down dog is often referred to a resting pose. Find your solid base in your arms. Pull your chest even stronger. Lift yourself up out of the ground. And then slowly, without moving your base, lift the left heel towards the ceiling and reach really long. Bend the knees, step through, low lunge, maybe find your blocks. Inhale with a bent left leg, exhale sending it towards straight. And again, you can take any side movements with the hips, opening up, finding some length in the inner thigh. Moving with your breath and trying to add that gentle pause. And then find a little lunge, really strong. So find your base strong, lifting up, not sinking into the joints, but active, strong muscles. Really long in the legs. Try to lift up off this left thigh, strong and long in the back, long spine. Bend the back knee and lower it, and then inhale, lift up, rise up, high lunge. And exhale, bring your hands to prayer heart. Find your base steady, so maybe popping in that back foot. Strong legs, tall spine. Arms up. We inhale up, exhale, peel open warrior two. Inhale up, exhale, sweep down, push that knee to the ground. Inhale up, peel open. Inhale center, exhale, sweep and push. Start to move with your breath, adding in your gentle pauses. Make sure this movement is not coming from the foot, it's coming from the whole of the leg. Watch if you have a tendency to pull from the sacrum, and use the sacrum to make this movement happen. Use the inner thighs. Find a warrior two. Land and find your base. Strong legs. We're going to inhale all the way to reverse triangle. Exhale back to warrior two. Gentle pause. Try to keep the legs active. Every time the mind draws you off the mat, find some more muscles to think about, to connect with. Turn around. Find your warrior two, nice and strong. We're going to start to use that left leg really strong and pull through the right leg. Also, sweep up as we inhale. Exhale, land soft. Inhale, sweep and pull. Exhale, land. Find some more muscles to think about in both legs. If you're off your mat, you're going to fall. Land in a warrior two. Find your base. Hands to hips, toes out, heels in. Star pose first. Get really long in the spine. Hands to prayer. And we're going to slowly sink our hips to halfway goddess pose. So don't go all the way down. You don't go to your flexibility. Go to where you can hold with nice strong legs. You're going to bring thumb and forefinger to touch on both hands. You're going to place them on either side of your hips and soften your shoulders. And then we're going to return to spine breath. So try to keep nice, strong, active legs, long spine. Breathe in through the crown of your head, all the way to the tailbone, all the way back up. Gentle pause. So these fingers touching is a grounding. So think about drawing from the sky down to your roots and all the way back up again. Maybe even soften the eyes closed so you can better focus on what's going on internally. Complete a full round. Bring your hands back to prayer, heart space, and straighten up the legs. Turn the heels in and give the legs a little shake. Soften the legs. Loosen and let go. And then we're going to peel the right foot open, leaving the left foot even with the back of the mat. Triangle legs, nice and strong. Torso over just a teeny bit. We're going to find the muscles in between the rib cage and the hip on the right side. Left hand can remain on the hip. It can reach out. We're going to think about pulling the rib cage up and back. Rib cage up and back. So really thinking about these oblique muscles. And if you've got the hang of this and you want to take little tiny rib cage spirals, go ahead. Really connecting to this oblique muscle. Slow breath. And then bring the torso back up. Hands to hips, switch feet. Other side. Long in the legs, so not snapping that knee back, but strong legs. Keep energy moving in the legs. Torso tilts a little bit left. Find the muscles on the left-hand side. Left hand out or in at the hip. And then pull the rib cage up and back. Up and back. Really thinking about this space, your oblique muscles. Squeeze. Small movement. And then maybe some small rib cage circles, really focusing in on the oblique muscle. Squeeze the center. And then all the way back to neutral. Both feet in. Shimmy. We're going to turn the right foot in, bend the knee, and step all the way up to mountain pose. Connect to the breath. Long cleansing, drawing in, little pause. And then bring your prayer to heart in mountain pose and really connect in. Notice what is present. Notice any gripping in the toes or around the knees. Notice any muscles talking. And you can swan dive down and find your way to an easy seat, or if you'd like the challenge, we're going to bring our arms out ahead of us. We're going to connect to the muscles, deepen towards the spine, peel up the heels, and slowly lower down. Slow, slow, slow. Squeeze of the inner thigh and a pull out, trying to keep her balance. And then lower down. And guess what? All the work is done. So time to take some softness. Take your feet out ahead of the hips. And you can place your hands behind you and lean back as long as you're comfortable. Take some wiggles of the legs. Really soften the legs out. Let go. You can point and flex the feet. Take some circles. Notice what is present. And then bring the soles of the feet together and peel the knees open. Maybe the inner thighs feel a little tighter. Maybe they feel a little more open. You can pull both knees down one at together or one at a time. Little rock. Make sure the rock is coming from the thighs and not the sacrum or the low back. And slowly make your way down to your back. So landing on your back, feet on the ground, knees up. Take some side sways of the knees. Notice what is present in the back. Notice the legs. And just thinking about that spine breath and breathing in, loosening all of our muscles, and then a little gentle squeeze. We're just going to give some assist, some connection, mind-body connection to some of the muscles in the lower area, your pelvic area. So we're going to give a little tiny tilt of the pelvis up, and then exhale, let it soften down. Inhale, pull, tilt the pelvis up. It's a teeny tilt. We're not lifting and pulling. Teeny tilt, and then let go. Teeny tilt, squeeze. Maybe begin to connect with squeezing the glutes and squeezing as if you're pulling up the spine, and then let go. As you let go, try to soften and release. So see if you can start to connect with squeezing more and letting go more fully. Notice if it feels difficult to squeeze or difficult to let go. And then let that go. Take a little side sway. We're going to take right knee over left. We're going to draw the knees in towards the chest and feet towards opposite shoulders. So you can rest your hands on your shins. You're looking for piriformis space on right side. So that glute piriformis space. See if you can find a little warmth here. And breathe into it as if you're sending your breath right to that muscle group, letting it go, letting it be refreshed. Slowly bring your knees about over the hips. Bring your shoulders to the ground. So really allow your shoulders to the ground and your head to be on the ground with a soft neck. We're going to let the right foot come all the way over to the left, nice and slow. So we're starting to take a little twist. You can take the left hand and prop the right leg up on this left hand. You're looking for the twist to be a little bit in the core and a little opening from the right hip to the right shoulder and not in the spine. So if there's any tweaking in the spine, push this right knee up a little more. Keep an eye on your spine. Try to allow the right shoulder to really be heavy on the ground and a little pull all the way down to the hip. So you're thinking about opening across the right side of the rib cage. The more that you breathe in fully with a little bit of a twist in the torso area, the more that your breath can kind of massage the space. And then slowly unravel, slow as you can. Right foot comes down, a little sway. Make sure there's nice softness in the back. And then left knee over right, draw in towards chest. Find the piriformis space on the left side. And as you're resting into this, if you play with your feet, moving the angles of your feet, you can take ankle circles. Make this your practice. Do what feels right in your own muscles and holding patterns. Feeling your breath. Starting to bring your heart rate down. Starting to land back down on the ground. And slowly bringing the knees over the hips. Planting that left shoulder heavy on the ground. Allow the knees and the left foot to come to the right side. And find the place where you can feel a little opening across the left rib cage, a little squeeze across the belly. And nothing in the back, no tweaking, no pinching. And then as you slowly unravel, return the left foot to the ground. Start to think about where you would like to be for your resting pose. Take a little shuffle of the hips. Notice what is present. Start to land on the ground either in full corpse pose or with something underneath the knees. Grab your blankets, your socks. Start to prepare to really soften into the ground and let go. We're going to think about that spine breath. So today, if you're going to work on the spine breath one more time, probably not best to go to a fetal position. You can do this laying down in crocodile if that's your go-to pose for your resting pose. Feels a little bit easier if you're on your back or your spine is straight. You want to think about nice straight spine. So one more time, returning to our breath, thinking about the crown of our head being the source of freshness and the base of our spine being our grounding, our solid base, the thing that's closest to earth, the thing that's closest to our roots. So think about drawing in fresh all the way down the spine as if you could intentionally recharge your energetic highway of your spine. And then slowly releasing anything that's no longer needed all the way up the spine. Long cleansing exhale. And a gentle pause just to feel free of holding patterns for just a little peace, a little time, a little softness. It's important that these gentle pauses are very gentle, very mindful. Try not to push to the limits where you start to feel like you're gasping for breath. Be gentle and mindful. And if you need to talk your way through it, add your little gentle pause in your head. Gentle pause. I'm breathing in fresh, very slowly letting go. Gentle pause. And then let all thoughts of your breath go. Land on the ground. Today I'm reading from the Radiance Sutra. And again, these texts were written in an ancient poetic language, being through many translations. They're not supposed to be heard with a cognitive head, but when we are ready to feel with our spiritual self, our heart center, you can ignore the words or allow what you need to rest in. There is a current of love energy that flows between the earth below and the sun above. The central channel of your spine is a riverbed. The streaming is as delicate and powerful as the tingling touch of lovers. Enter here. Radiance arches between above and below. Your whole attention is resting in this subtle, vibrating in the center of the spinal column, tracing this current between earth and sun. Become magnetism, relating all worlds. The time to take in your resting pose. Please spend some time, whatever time you need, resting, landing, staying here. If you need to finish up at 60 minutes, begin to make yourself into the fetal position. Take yourself into the fetal position on whatever side is calling to you. And think of some of that energy that often gets trapped in our head. Think about how we often have tension right at the crown of our head. It's almost as if our entire body fights that mind-body connection. And think about if the energy from our brain could flow more freely up and down our spine, rather than being trapped entirely in our head. And then when you're ready, make your way to a seated position. Bring your hands to prayer at heart space. And thinking about some of that cleansing energy that we've drawn through our spine, right through to our heart center. And think about sending out some of that fresh, cleansing energy to someone else that might need it today. Bring them to mind and imagine wrapping them in this fresh, caring, warm, compassionate energy. May we all spend our day feeling a little lighter, a little freer. Thanks for joining us.